we have someone in our family who who feels some type of way of their parent, right? And who the parent eventually passed away, and this person held on to this resentment, through their whole life. And
Grudge, you could say.
yeah, like a grudge. There you go. Grudge, resentment. It could be so many different words. We are not professionals, so we don't have the exact terminology. And who are we? We just felt like this was a great conversation to have on the podcast because a lot of us we have childhood trauma, we have the ego, we have the pride, we have the the unwillingness to be like, hey, I know that my parent isn't perfect, but I know that if I want this to work, I'm going to have to put some things to the side in order for this relationship to work. That's why I said that I was grateful for the relationship that I had with my father, was because it wasn't always like that. Like, there was a time where him and I weren't always in the best terms. Like, there were times that, like, I would go weeks without speaking to him, and we lived in the same household, and it was up to me to decide, like, hey, number one, you gotta let that go. Like, you gotta let what happened in the past, how he hurt you, all of these things, that because you're not perfect either. Like, I wasn't the perfect daughter either, for me to be like, like acting like I'm God and judging him off of the mistakes that he made, because he is a parent who doesn't have a handbook on how to be a parent, how to be a father, hell, how to even live life. So this goes into this family member who she never had that opportunity, so she held on to that. And one thinks, oh well, when this whole situation happened, which was, her father left, was um he was
A Rolling Stone.
yeah, he was a rolling stone, if you will.
Hey, he was around that time. Fuck
It
it.
was, listen, it really was a perfect word. And so, there was some things that he didn't do well as a father, as a husband, as a man, because all of those things, it's a man. And so, this family member of ours, she just like held on to that. She didn't like her last name. She, tried to repress that part of her life as much as she could, and she never had gotten that closure, I guess you can say, or even the rebuilding of the relationship with her father because of what he did when she was younger. She never allowed herself to open up and be like, wow, like, yeah, what my dad did was horrible, and what he did to my mom, and how he left us. And then you feel abandoned as a child. So when you get older, you're almost just kind of like, well, what do I need him for anyway? Like, he was never there. I went to school without him. I graduated from school without him. He never went to any of my graduations, wasn't a part of my life, didn't want to be a part of my life. So in one part, you kind of agree with her. You're kind of like, because I was kind of like on that side too. It's kind of like, well, he was this, and this, and this, but that was the Claudia that.
That was episode 30, Claudia.
Yeah, that was exactly, that was episode 30, Claudia. And now, like, this Claudia is a lot more different because I acknowledge these certain things that is kind of like, man, that pride and ego, man. Pride will get you killed. Have said it perfectly. Pride and ego, because if you have pride, and let's say you're in a situation where it's life or death, pride can get you killed in that moment, because you want to be, the hot shot. You want to be whatever, word you want to use for that. And so it just got me thinking, like, man, I feel like our listeners need to listen to this and need to really understand that if you do have the opportunity to, talk to that, it doesn't even have to be your parent. It can be a sibling, because I know not everybody has a perfect relationship with their sibling, because sometimes you have older siblings that are like maybe 10 years older, and they were just very mean to you when you were young, and they were just like, there's just so many layers to this, you guys. I guess the main thing that I want you guys to grab from this topic is basically that it's sometimes it's okay to just let it go. Sometimes it's okay to be the bigger person, the one who's going to say, you know what? Fuck that. This is for me. I'm going to do this for me. This is where the ego and the pride comes into play, like the good ego and pride, because you want to be prideful in a way to be like, yo, like, yeah, my dad this did X, Y, and Z, and or my mom did X, Y, and Z, my aunt, my uncle, a friend, whoever did X, Y, and Z, But because for me, it's something that hurts me and it's hurting me, I should be the one to be able to take that step that is going to make this relationship flourish into something beautiful. God didn't put people into our lives for no reason. You know what I mean? You guys hear that term a lot. Like, everybody comes into your life for a reason. You know, it's either a lesson or a blessing, and sometimes it's both. Because like sometimes it's definitely both when you think about it, because like your family is, you learn. Listen, I'm 31 years old. When I tell you that my family is the biggest blessing that I have in my life, that I wake up every single day and I'm so grateful for them. But man, they've taught me a lot of lessons. All of them, mom, dad, brother, cousins, my aunts, everybody that's in my family has taught me something. And they have also been a blessing. Sometimes the lessons have been really tough, you know? And so, yeah, so I just wanted to bring that into light. You guys know I love helping you guys, you know, tap into that. Yeah, tap into that. Tap. I do the third eye. Yeah, I that's what I do. I'm like, oh, you want to calm down? Tap the third eye real quick.
Oh, but the face is already beat, though.
True that. Y'all see this slate? Oh, shout out to everybody who's watching us on YouTube, listening to us, wherever it is that you listen to us, SoundCloud, Spotify, iHeartRadio.
WTW Radio.
Yeah, WTW Radio. I'm like, where else do they listen to us? But yeah, WTW Radio, WTW
Apple
TV,
Podcast.
Apple Podcast.
Shout out to my boys that be listening to on there. Y'all, I see y'all.
Yes, thank you so much. I appreciate you guys. But yeah, so like I said, like my the whole thing of this podcast is to like tap into that area of your life that's going to make you better. You know, I'm not a professional, but I have, and I feel like
yes,
I have.
You are, dog.
Think you have. I'm a professional podcast. I'm a professional personality.
Professional shit talker too.
That too, have.
Come on, man. Come on, man. Don't bring up the agendas, please. And that's a different episode.
But yeah, so I just always feel like there's always lessons to be taught, and if I can help one person who is listening get through whatever it is that they're getting through, or to learn to like let go of certain things, then I have done my job.
Claudia on her, I spit knowledge shit. Reach one, teach one.
And then I'm about to talk mad shit right now. So now that we got that out of the way.